He hired a killer to murder the people at Light Club. The table was now filled with spirit coins delivered by Hugh. The waitress said, "Since you've already placed the order, I'll tell you. Tyler's ability is perception type with low positive combat power. Therefore, the price is not high. Besides, he is also the cousin of the Light Club chief." Hugh was taken aback at the words and asked, "Cousin again?" The waitress looked unhappy. She thought Hugh wanted to cancel the order. "May I ask if you need to cancel the order? The deposit is non-refundable." Hugh, on the other hand, said indifferently, "When will my cousin make a move? What should we do if the operation fails?" At this point, the waitress displayed the specifics of the killing application, but the details of the event are industry secrets and cannot be disclosed. However, we will give you a response within a week. You can also download the killing application to keep track of real-time updates for order tracking. After the assassination is completed, you will have a month to confirm their death and make the final payment. At this moment, Killing received an order notification. The waitress checked the order. "Sorry for the interruption. We have a high volume of business." At this time, the waitress stood up. She said, "There are two options for the failed assassination for you to choose from. The first is a half refund of the mission fee. The second is to pay more to find a stronger killer." He accepted the order, and then she handed the contract to Hugh. All these after-sales guarantees are written in the contract. You can rest assured. Hugh placed the contract on the table. At this moment, fluctuations in spirituality appeared on the contract. Hugh thought to himself that there is a power of the mystic artifact on this contract. The waitress noticed Hugh's expression and thought to herself that being able to accurately detect the aura of the mystic artifact shows that he also possesses the mystic artifact or has at least come into contact with it personally. The waitress then spoke up, saying, "You have a keen eye. This is used to ensure the effectiveness of the contract in case the customer fails to pay the final installment on time, making it easier for us to find them." "So you mean signing a pseudonym won't affect anything?" Hugh only wrote a 6 in the name column. Hugh signed his name. The waitress bid Hugh farewell and welcomed him to come again. Hugh walked out of the Black Rose bar and suddenly stopped. Hugh opened his blood eye and saw that he was not being followed. Safe. Hugh walked and thought, "Poking out one eye of the Light Club costs 200 spirit coins. It's worth it. If I had the money, I could directly buy Chief's life. Looks like I still need to earn some money first." The next day, Hugh brought Dennis to the investigation bureau. Dennis asked Hugh directly, "So you really joined the investigation bureau?" The scene shifted to the director's office. The director's voice was heard saying, "Now the bizarreness is invading the whole country. The situation is deteriorating. Headquarters is facing internal and external troubles. The situation is turbulent. Some groups and families are secretly cultivating their own spirit masters, and some even collude with foreign spirit master forces. So, Hugh, the meaning of the above is, for now, we will arrange for you to be trained in our bureau." Dennis is very happy to hear that. "Great, Hugh, you don't need to be transferred anymore." Joseph patted Hugh on the shoulder and said, "From now on, we are comrades. Feel free to make any requests. I will try my best to meet them." At this time, the director asked Joseph, "How is the investigation of Ace of Spades going? And how is Bruce's injury?" "I have only found out so far that behind Ace of Spades, there is a large organization called Playing Cards, which is deeply hidden. It is likely not a local force, and its roots are highly likely to be on the headquarters side. As for Bruce, his mental state is still okay, but he is still not able to move freely." "Okay, you continue to investigate Playing Cards to help Bruce recover with peace of mind. Don't worry about the bureau. Hugh, Dennis, you are still newcomers. Spirit Master should attend training first. After passing, then missions will be assigned." Dennis nodded foolishly in agreement. While Hugh was pondering, he started an organization called Playing Cards. Disguised as the Ace of Spades, he came to know about the interesting King of Spades organization with their mysterious methods. I wonder who else is out there. I must find a chance to get in touch in the future. The sexy and beautiful lady in front of you is a killer, and she has set her sights on Hugh. Just now, Hugh hired a killer to kill the cousin of the Light Club chief through the Black Rose Bar. The next day, Hugh joined the investigation bureau with Dennis. The two who joined the investigation bureau started their training. Only saw the beautiful female teacher on the big screen, talking about 108 ways to deal with bizarreness. However, the two of them did not pay attention. Hugh fell asleep, while Dennis was staring at the beautiful teacher with a silly smile. The teacher's teaching style was quite intriguing. In the practical training class, Dennis had a watermelon on his head. Terrified, he begged for mercy and surrendered. "I surrender, spare Hugh's life, please." However, as soon as he finished speaking, a bullet was fired. The watermelon on Dennis's head instantly exploded. Hugh's marksmanship is extremely accurate. That's how they train for a week. Hugh wants to take on a mission after resting from training for a week. He's getting bored from waiting and the weirdness. It's almost time to hear back from Black Rose, isn't it? Hugh took out his phone to check. Meanwhile, Dennis held a watermelon and muttered to himself, "This watermelon is not as big as Faye's." At this moment, Hugh saw a message on the killing application and couldn't help but smile. This is going to be interesting. Only to see the killing application display. "Your order has been completed. Please check carefully." The picture now moves to another building. A group of people sits in the meeting room. Everyone looks bad. There is dead silence. At this moment, a man mentioned that Lennox has gone missing. A woman dressed in a ninja outfit mentioned that the mystic artifact bronze candle holder is also missing. Chief raised his glass. Muttering under his breath, he said, "My cousin was also killed." Then he threw his head back and took a big gulp of the wine. He grew angrier and angrier. He smashed the glass in his hand directly. His face looked very ugly. He said angrily, "Who did this after all? Someone is definitely targeting me. Targeting Light Club." The members next to him were so scared that they dared not speak. "You all go and investigate for me. Investigate thoroughly." At this moment, a charming figure appeared. She directly sat on Chief's lap. The woman has a hot figure. She sat on the man's lap while holding a wine glass and said, "Okay, calm down." Then the woman handed the wine in her hand to the man. The man drank the wine in his hand without saying a word. Suddenly, the man frowned and stared at the wine in his hand. He asked, "What is this taste?" The woman blushed and made a circular gesture near her mouth, saying, "Yes." Upon hearing this, the man's expression turned ugly immediately. He directly swung his hand towards the woman. "You, a woman who has used your tongue on others, dared to touch me." The woman said to the man, with a playful smile on her face, "Don't be so harsh with your words. You scared me. After all, it's just an act for both of us. My feelings for you are genuine." Then, the woman smiled and said, "Darling, let me take care of this task. I promise to satisfy you within a week." This is a village of bizarreness called Dark Water Village. Just because there is a river that is black in color, people often die. Hence the name Dark Water. Even if the villager sleeps in their own home, they would wake up and find themselves dragged into the river. Many days have passed. Bruce's injuries have gradually improved a lot. At this point, Bruce reported to the director via video call. The doctor said, "I have basically regained my mobility, but I am still unable to engage in combat." Joseph is also watching Bruce's video. The director said, "Bruce, you should continue to rest and recover. Therefore, we will have to send someone else to the Qingshan Mental Hospital Mysterious Realm. How about sending the Jeremy team?" At this point, Joseph heard about the director's arrangement. He said, "Jeremy is also considered a seasoned spirit master. Leading a team to handle a level C mysterious realm should not be a problem. But what about Hugh? After all, he has been to Qingshan Mental Hospital. shouldn't he go together? The director explained that Hugh is too important, and he is still a novice spirit master. I will first arrange for him to handle the level D bizarreness incident. After accumulating experience and improving his spirituality, then he will be assigned level C tasks. Joseph looked at the director speechlessly and said, "Is your protection too much? What is the difference between level C and level D?" The director got angry and said, "Damn it! For a third stage spirit master like you, there is naturally no difference between level C and level D. If it were you or Bruce leading the team, then he could go. Or even to the more dangerous mysterious realm. But for now, you are investigating playing cards and Bruce is still injured. I naturally need to prioritize safety. Do you not understand this logic?" At this moment, Bruce said to Joseph, "Your ability is luck. No matter who dies, it won't be you. You wouldn't care, of course." Upon hearing this, Joseph became displeased. A man should go through trials of blood and fire. Hothouse flowers won't do. That's it. The director's voice cursing Joseph came through the phone. Bruce, helpless, rubbed his forehead in silence. At this time, Hugh arrived at Joseph's office. Jose looked at Hugh with a serious expression. "I called you here this time. There is a difficult task I need to assign to you." "I decline anything unrelated to bizarreness," Jose said directly. "This time, I want to send you to investigate and solve the bizarre events in Darkwater Village." Hugh took the report given by Jose. Darkwater Village? I haven't heard of that village before. Darkwater Village is a remote mountain village in the mountainous area of our LT city. Due to the road conditions, this village has very few inhabitants, so not many people are familiar with it. There is a Darkwater River in the village, and Darkwater Village is named after the river. In recent years, many villagers have drowned in the Darkwater River, and everyone initially thought it was just ordinary drowning incidents. According to the villagers, there is a water phantom in the Darkwater River. They specifically grab people's feet while they are swimming in the river. Later, even more bizarre things happened. A villager was originally sleeping at home. He woke up later only to find himself by the riverside. If he hadn't woken up in time, he might have been drowned. There are many similar eerie legends, like Darkwater Village. Investigation Bureau conducted field visits and investigations. It is preliminarily determined that there are bizarre events. The mission codenamed Water Phantom has been preliminarily classified as Level C. He looked at the report in his hand, deep in thought. This Darkwater Village seems to be quite interesting. The adorable Loli in front of him is the assistant provided to Hugh by the Investigation Bureau. However, she is not the type Hugh likes. He doesn't even look at her and leaves directly. Just now, the director assigned a task to Hugh. His task is to investigate the Darkwater Village Water Phantom incident. The level is Level C. Hugh started to contemplate. He felt that this incident was somewhat intriguing. The Investigation Bureau solved a Level D bizarre event. An additional reward of 10 spirit coins is given. Level C events reward 100 spirit coins. Level B events reward 1,000 coins. And so forth. In other words, by solving this Water Phantom event, I can buy an extra life for Light Club. At this moment, the director said that since this is your first mission and your ability is classified as top secret, Sarah will lead the team. You, Dennis, and a spirit master who recently joined the Investigation Bureau will carry out the mission together. Upon hearing this, Hugh's face lit up with excitement. It's been a week since he last encountered bizarreness. Such a nostalgic feeling. The pleasure of inserting the scalpel into the body of bizarreness. Although during these days, he attempted revenge on his wife a few more times. But the gap between us is so big that before I had a chance to take action, I was counterkilled by her. Experiencing a death rollback was truly devoid of any sense of satisfaction. Director saw the terrifying fluctuation of Hugh's spirituality and became afraid. The heavy intent to kill. This young spirit master indeed bears the same contamination as indicated in the spirituality pollution report. Envy breeds hostility like bizarreness. At this moment, Jose suddenly remembered something. That's right, the Bureau has assigned you a partner. They are an ordinary person who can assist you with handling some trivial matters, like Sarah and assistant Brian. This is standard equipment for the Investigation Bureau. Jose immediately picked up the phone and made a call. Olive, come to my office. A voice came through the phone, indicating that she's on her way. At this moment, Hugh's 5 senses spread out. He heard Olive's voice. Come on, Olive, you can do it. No matter how difficult it is to get along with the Spirit Master, as long as you work hard, you will definitely be recognized. Keep it up. The office door was opened by Olive. I saw the cute Olive standing nervously at the door. Jose said directly, This is Hugh, Olive. You will be responsible for working with him in the future. However, Hugh thought to himself, as a graduate of a prestigious university who has been trained by the Investigation Bureau, Olive cannot be unaware that the Spirit Master's 5 senses far surpass those of ordinary people. Hugh stood up. Olive immediately bowed and said, Hello, Hugh. My name is Olive, and my number is 1327. However, Hugh directly walked away coldly without saying much. Add me as a friend later. Send me your phone number. Unless it's something important, don't message me unless I contact you first. Olive looked at Hugh in surprise. Hugh said directly, Your acting skills are good. Don't act next time. Upon hearing this, Olive became even more puzzled. Hugh walked to the door and received Olive's friend request. Olive is like the lollipop girl at the entrance of the community gate. She looks harmless, but in fact, she is very scheming. Hugh looks at the message sent by Olive. At this time, Dennis shouted that Hugh should wait for him alone. Only saw Sarah and a few others waiting on the side for Hugh. Sarah, with a displeased face, said to Hugh, You have a big attitude. Even snails are faster than you. After getting in the car, the red-haired fat man said, Nice to meet you. Let me introduce myself. I am Lucas. I am also an old member of the Investigation Bureau. I am a space-type spirit master. My ability is teleportation. Dennis excitedly exclaimed, Lucas, can you really teleportation? I thought my ability was strong enough, but it seems like yours is even stronger. Lucas then asked Dennis, What is your ability? Dennis seemed hesitant to speak. Sarah snorted and said, If you can awake that kind of ability, then don't feel embarrassed to say it. At this moment, Sarah said, Since I am the team leader, let me give everyone a brief introduction. My ability is flame, Hugh's is perception, and Fatty's is. We've already mentioned it just now. As for Dennis, the ability he's too embarrassed to mention is sex ability. Upon hearing this, Lucas burst into laughter. Brother, you are truly talented. What are you thinking with sex ability? How do you deal with bizarreness? Do you plan to? F********. It? Lucas was laughing wildly. At this point, Sarah said, Fatty, do you have the nerve to laugh at others? What's there to boast about when your teleportation ability can only move 10 centimeters in an hour? Dennis chuckled mockingly. Teleportation 10 centimeters? That distance isn't even half of my length. Lucas replied. That was before. I have improved now. I can teleport 20 centimeters in half an hour. Listening to the two of them arguing incessantly, Sarah became angry straight away. She directly threw a big flame ball towards the two behind her. The two were instantly burnt to charcoal. Enough. Whoever dares to speak another word, I will throw them down. You just run to Dark Water Village. The two immediately apologized upon hearing this. They have become much more honest. At this moment, Hugh thought of the Level C bizarre incident. Only one senior spirit master from the first stage was assigned, along with 3 cheerleaders who lacked any combat ability. The dungeon is too simple, or the Investigation Bureau is so short-handed to this extent. I don't think it matters that much. It will be clear once we see the situation in the village. After a while, everyone arrived at Dark Water Village. Dark Water Village at the foot of the mountain appeared in front of everyone's eyes. In this horror world filled with bizarreness, this haunted Dark Water Village doesn't even have a hint of weirdness. It's truly strange. Just now, Hugh received the task of investigating the bizarreness incidents in Dark Water Village. Just like that, Hugh followed Sarah and the others to carry out this task together. The group arrived at Dark Water Village by car. At this time, a glow appeared in front of the crowd. As they got closer, glow became brighter and brighter. At this time, Hugh said, "Someone is coming ahead." Dennis, upon hearing this, was taken aback. Just then, a foot appeared in front of Hugh and the others. An elder was holding a lantern, accompanied by another person. The elder asked, "Is it Sarah from the TV station?" Sarah walked up to them and said, "It's me. You must be Aiden, the village chief." The person who came as Dark Water Village Chief Aiden and his grandson Zane. Aiden nodded and said, "That's right. It's been hard on Zane and Sarah all the way. Are you hungry? Go back, and I'll have my daughter-in-law prepare some food for you." Everyone followed Aiden into his house. Sarah said, "Village Chief, no need to trouble yourself. We ate in the car earlier. We're not hungry now, and we're all tired from a day of travel. We just need to rest early." Aiden replied, "All right, I didn't consider that. Zane, go heat up some water. I'll take Sarah and them to the rooms." Sarah, who returned to the room, started to take a shower. Sarah touched the fox pattern on her body. However, Sarah suddenly froze. Then Sarah became flustered. She quickly put on her clothes, thinking it's better to be cautious outside. Sarah wiped the water off her hair and walked to the hall. She asked everyone if they had noticed anything unusual. Lucas responded, "So far, we haven't found anything unusual. Since you haven't found anything, let's take a rest. We'll head to Dark Water River early tomorrow morning." From the information, the bizarreness is highly likely related to Dark Water River. At this moment, Hugh suddenly brought up hair. Sarah was startled at the words and turned to look at Hugh. Hugh continued, "Everyone's hair quality is too good, especially the village chief, who is in his 70s or 80s. He doesn't even have a single strand of white hair." Lucas said he dyed and treated his hair. However, Hugh said there was no need for them to do so. Upon hearing this, Sarah fell into contemplation. Hugh makes sense. Dark Water Village is small. Everyone knows each other. The village chief, an old man, doesn't need to do this. Besides, hair dye is needed from a town far away. It's too troublesome. The three newcomers should sleep in the same room. It's best to take turns staying up at night. At this point, Hugh stood up directly. He walked straight outside. Dennis spoke out, "Hugh, where are you going? Are you going to sleep with us? What will you do if you encounter weirdness alone?" Hugh walked out alone like this. He thought that what worried him more than encountering weirdness alone was that gathering people together would prevent weirdness from happening. And the most critical point that really makes me suspicious. Since we arrived at Dark Water Village, I found that there is not a single bit of bizarreness here. Immediately, Hugh used the Blood Eye's ability to observe his surroundings. Late at night, Hugh returned to his room to rest. I have only encountered this situation once before. It was at the mysterious realm in Chi-Shan Mental Hospital, where the bizarreness integrated into reality. The bizarreness also transitioned from illusion to reality. Is Dark Water Village also a mysterious realm where the bizarreness hasn't left? However, there is no signal in the mental hospital. And even though this is a mountainous area, the signal is weak but still present. Hugh fell asleep gradually while thinking like this. At this time, it was already 3 o'clock in the early morning. Hugh's legs suddenly emitted a burst of black mysterious aura. Countless black mysterious auras surrounded Hugh. Sleeping Hugh feels cold and hears the sound of water. Hugh suddenly opened his eyes. He sat up abruptly. Has it finally appeared? In the dead of night. This man actually sneaked up on this woman at night, and even crawled into her bed. Just now, the crowd arrived at the home of the village chief of Darkwater Village. Hugh fell asleep deeply in the night. At 3 o'clock in the morning, numerous mysterious auras surrounded Hugh. Hugh, asleep, felt a chill and heard the sound of water. Hugh woke up suddenly. He looked around at his surroundings. The bed was shaking, and there was the sound of water. Could it be that I am on the Darkwater River? Hugh immediately picked up the phone by the bed. He directly turned on the phone's flashlight and shined it ahead, only to see the icy river water rippling with waves. Hugh was completely astonished. This is Darkwater River. The strong light shone on Sarah. Obviously, it woke the other person up. Sarah suddenly opened her eyes. She stood up immediately, blocking the light with her hand. She asked, "Who is it?" I heard someone say, "It's me." Sarah blushed instantly. Sarah looked at Hugh in shock, who was holding a phone in front of her. The next second, she covered her body and said in embarrassment, "When did you come into my room? What do you want?" Hugh immediately pointed the phone in another direction and said, "Take a good look at the surroundings before you speak." Only to see Dennis and Lucas still fast asleep. Hugh shouted loudly to wake them up. At this moment, Sarah picked up her phone and shone the light over. She looked terrified, only to see everyone on the mattress. They were floating above the Darkwater River. Sarah exclaimed, "Where are we? What happened?" Dennis woke up. "What's wrong with you?" A dark shadow suddenly rushed over and Dennis screamed in fear. The dark shadow turned out to be Lucas. He anxiously held onto Dennis and said, "Where are we? Weren't we sleeping? Why are we suddenly in the river? This doesn't make any sense." Dennis panicked. "Don't move around. You might overturn the bed." "Hugh, help me," Hugh calmly said. "This is Darkwater River, and the strangeness has begun to appear. And we are moving towards the center of Darkwater River, only to see a vortex appearing at the center of the river." Dennis and Lucas hugged each other in panic. "It's a vortex. Where should we run? It's all water." Listening to their noise, Sarah supported her forehead in silence. Sarah angrily said, "Shut up! Everyone is not allowed to get in the water." The two of them instantly became much more obedient. They said, "Okay." Hugh looked towards the two of them. "It's foolish. How could I easily let you leave when you can bring such bizarre things to Darkwater River without a sound?" Lucas started to paddle with his hands. However, Lucas was speechless in an instant. He quietly said to Dennis, "It's useless. I've been rowing for a long time and haven't seen any movement. Maybe there's something pulling us underwater." Dennis quietly suggested, "Why don't we swim?" However, Sarah had already overheard their conversation. This bizarreness can control the river water. The river is its domain. We must not go into the water under any circumstances. Moreover, even though I am the strongest force in the team, Flame happens to be weak against water. I am greatly restricted. Therefore, I am afraid I can only look out for myself. At this time, Hugh is alone, and we don't know what he is up to." Dennis looked at Hugh and said, "Hugh, what should we do? The vortex is getting closer." Dennis noticed that Hugh was tinkering with something, only to see that Hugh's previous bag was emptied. There were items like hammer, scissors, and rope on the mattress. At this point, Hugh has already tied the rope to the shovel. Hugh swung the shovel directly. He swung the shovel in his hand at high speed. The shovel's appearance was no longer visible. At this moment, Hugh stopped spinning. He was ready to throw the shovel out. Hugh directly activated Blood Eye's ability and forcefully threw out the shovel. The shovel landed perfectly on the tree by the shore. Hugh tightly gripped the shovel in his hand. He looked towards the crowd. Everyone moved closer. "Grab my bed." The woman fell into the water. She is completely soaked. Her figure is partly visible. And the man unabashedly turned around. He stared straight at the woman. The woman blushed all over from being looked at. She covered her body. "Just now, Everyone was trapped on the dark water river by the bizarreness. Hugh used the tools in his bag to make a rope. He hooked a tree on the shore and had everyone grab onto his mattress. That's how everyone's mattress floated over. Everyone grabbed onto the rope in Hugh's hand. Hugh alone pulled the rope in front, leading everyone to the shore. Sarah watched Hugh. She thought to herself, in such a dangerous situation, he could still make such accurate judgments calmly. Soon everyone gradually approached the shore. Dennis exclaimed excitedly, "Hugh, it's you!" At this moment, Sarah looked back and was shocked. The vortex behind them had disappeared. Everyone looked back and gasped. They found that the vortex was indeed gone. Hugh looked at the missing vortex, but remained very calm. It is highly likely that the vortex is the source of bizarreness. But now the vortex is gone. This might indicate that it may have spared us. However, this possibility is slim. Only one other possibility remains. Hugh spoke directly, saying, "Bizarreness has come knocking." Dennis was directly scared silly at the words. Just as he finished speaking, everyone felt like they were sinking. Sarah, who hadn't stood firmly, fell on the mattress. She looked extremely terrified. Something was pulling the mattress. Sarah picked up the phone directly. The light shone towards the bottom of the water. Hugh also looked over with Sarah's light, only to see something like tree roots swimming at the bottom of the water. At this moment, the river seemed to come alive, crawling towards Sarah's mattress. After seeing this situation, Sarah couldn't help but look serious. She directly condensed purple flame in her hands and threw it towards the strangeness at the bottom of the water. The flame was extremely powerful. When it hit the strangeness, it instantly rose into the sky. However, the strangeness was unharmed. But the previous flame clearly angered the bizarreness, as it directly dragged up the mattress. The mattress of everyone was directly dragged into the water. Everyone fell into the river. Dennis and Lucas kept struggling in the water. Lucas is afraid. He clung tightly to Dennis, telling Fatty not to pull him. They kept choking on water. At this time, a knife hand strike came over. The arrival was Hugh. At this moment, Fatty passed out. Dennis held up Lucas and said, "He almost killed me. Thanks a lot, Hugh." Then everyone held a rope and moved towards the shore. Fatty, who had passed out, was tied to the rope, held up by Dennis. Suddenly, Dennis spoke up, "Hugh, aren't we getting ashore?" Sarah asked in confusion, "Why not? We've already fallen into the water." Bizarreness, however, did not make a move. Upon hearing this, Hugh remained silent. He abruptly turned his head to look directly at Sarah. At this moment, Sarah, drenched from head to toe, was momentarily stunned by the gaze. Suddenly, Sarah's face turned red with embarrassment. She covered her impressive figure with her hands and said indignantly, "What are you looking at?" Hugh coldly said, "Sarah, water and fire are antagonistic. This water phantom fears your ability. It will only appear when your spirituality is exhausted. Only then we will have a chance to deal with it." "What should we do when the bizarreness appears after my spirituality is exhausted? None of you have the ability to fight it directly." "It doesn't matter, I will take action. I have already seen vitality." Upon hearing this, Sarah ignited the flame in her hand. Dennis had a comfortable expression on his face, feeling warm. It's as cozy as soaking in a hot spring. Flame gradually began to diminish, until the last glimmer of glow extinguished in the darkness. Sarah was very exhausted. My spirituality dried up. At this time, ripples began to appear on the water surface. Immediately, Hugh's expression turned solemn. The water phantom finally revealed its true form. Hugh directly activates the blood eye to dive into the water. He and the other person fought fiercely in the water. Just now, Hugh let Sarah deplete his own spirituality because the water phantom is afraid of fire. Sarah chooses to believe Hugh. She starts releasing flame. Gradually, her spirituality drained away. The last bit of flame disappeared too. Ripples started to appear on the surface of the water. At this moment, a sudden loud shout caught Hugh's attention. Just saw Dennis yelling that there's something in the water. The water phantom is coming. Countless dark, snake-like creatures are coming towards Hugh. Sarah is very nervous when she sees this because her spirituality is depleted, leaving her with no fighting ability. The hope of survival now rests entirely on Hugh. Sarah asked what to do now. Dennis said Hugh has always been very calm, but I feel like he's really excited now. It's like he's a person who has been abstaining for a long time and finally sees a coquettish beauty. Hugh excitedly curled up the corners of his mouth. The next second, he dived directly into the water. Hugh, who was submerged underwater, directly opened his blood eye. The next second, Hugh was startled. Those dark water serpents turned out to be hair. And this is similar to the hair we saw on Village Chief before. At this moment, countless strands of hair were tightly wrapped around Hugh's arms. Hugh's expression turned cold. He directly picked up the scalpel and cut off all those black hairs. Those black hairs were obviously scared. They all shrank back. Hugh looked towards the black hair. He hated this kind of bizarreness the most. Not only did it play tricks, but it also ran away when hit. Hugh couldn't enjoy the thrill of killing bizarreness at all. He headed straight towards the true form of black hair. Hugh picked up the scalpel, thinking, "Finally found you," only to see that the true form of black hair is a female corpse. The other party is wearing white clothes. Her face is already swollen. The decay makes her facial features unclear. She is screaming loudly. Hugh didn't say a word and chopped towards the other party. His blow obviously angered the other party. Female corpse let out a deep, muffled roar. Countless black hair attacked Hugh. Obviously being in the water for a long time, Hugh began to suffocate. But the bizarre thing here is that Hugh must kill her. Suddenly, the female corpse reached out her hands and tightly choked Hugh's neck. The strength of this bizarre force was as strong as a pair of iron tongs. He felt even more suffocated. But this is so stimulating. Hugh directly used the power of pain and chopped towards the female corpse. "Feel my pain. Everything is done." Hugh looked at the other party with a face full of enjoyment, only to see the female corpse affected by the power of pain, screaming frantically. She died without any struggle. Hugh was puzzled. How did she die with just 2 blows before I fully unleashed the power of pain? Can the bizarre ability to manipulate river water be so fragile? Suddenly, the head of the female corpse separated. The head detached from her body. Her head abandoned her body and ran away directly. Hugh looked at the body in front of him in silence. Interesting. So this is her true form hair wraith. Here they come. Hugh and the others are ready to capture the hair wraith and dry up the dark water river. Just now, Hugh used the power of pain underwater to strike at the water phantom. The water phantom died instantly in pain. Just as Hugh was in doubt, the water phantom actually abandoned its own body and escaped. Hugh couldn't help but laugh at the sight. It turns out that the true form of the water phantom is a hair wraith. Witnessing the bizarreness, it escaped. Hugh emerged from the water. Hugh said to everyone, "It's a pity that we let the bizarreness escape. Let's go ashore first and then discuss." The group pulled the rope and headed towards the shore. Dennis and Sarah dragged the unconscious Lucas to the shore. Sarah kept pressing Lucas's chest, trying to wake him up. Lucas needs artificial respiration. Who can do it? Upon hearing this, Dennis immediately retreated in fear. He turned to Sarah and said, "Why don't you come?" Upon hearing this, Sarah instantly became angry. At this moment, Hugh walked over to Sarah. Sarah looked at Hugh shyly, thinking he was going to give Lucas artificial respiration. Who knew Hugh gave Lucas a big punch directly? Sarah was shocked instantly. Lucas kept spitting out the water in his mouth. He still hasn't woken up. Hugh directly used the power of pain to stimulate Lucas's heart. Lucas woke up instantly in pain. He covered his face and asked, "Who hit me? It hurt so much." Lucas woke up and saw Sarah was angry. "Were you pretending to be unconscious just now?" Dennis asked. "Tried to deceive Sarah into kissing you, huh?" Lucas, looking puzzled, replied, "What pretending? I really was unconscious." At this moment, Hugh spoke to everyone. "I saw a female corpse underwater just now. Her hair detached and fled on its own after I attacked it. So I speculate that the hair is the true form of the bizarreness, and the female corpse is just being controlled by it." The village chief, "Their hair is exactly the same as the female corpse. We can't go back tonight." Sarah said, "Then let's camp here tonight. I will come back to deal with it after my spirituality restores tomorrow. It can be repelled by a new spirit master like you, showing its weak combat power. As long as you find a way to lure it to the shore, I can use flame to resolve it." Hugh was speechless at her words. He picked up his phone directly and called his assistant Olive. Hugh said to Sarah, "Your arrangement makes it hard for me to believe that you are a senior spirit master." At this time, Olive's voice came from the phone. "Hugh, is that you? What's the matter calling so late?" Sarah heard what Hugh had just said and immediately responded, "What do you mean? Do you look down on me?" However, Hugh ignored Sarah and said to Olive, "Immediately inform the superiors and send a special operations team to Darkwater Village with the most powerful water pump. The more, the better." Olive asked in confusion, "Hugh, why do you need a water pump for the mission?" "You don't need to know the reason. Just do as I say immediately. If there are any issues, find Jose. Tell him it's coming from me." After saying that, he hung up the phone directly. He turned to the crowd and said, "With the support of the Investigation Bureau behind us, this tree that can mobilize a large amount of manpower and resources. Of course, I have to make good use of it. Darkwater River only has deep water in the central part. It's hard to hide people in other areas. So we just need to block the upstream and downstream. Draining the river water will be enough." The crowd looked speechless. They couldn't help but exclaim, "I can't believe it can be done this way." Sarah awkwardly said, "Because of ingrained thinking habits, I subconsciously believe that only spirit masters could deal with the bizarreness. Modern technological methods are truly more cost-effective and efficient than taking risks like spirit masters." Hugh, however, thought to himself, "I don't care about being a spirit master at all. As long as an ordinary person can make the bizarreness feel pain, I will go to any lengths." The time came to the second day. Hugh said to the three people who were still half asleep, "Get up. The special operations team has arrived." Hugh put on his sunglasses. He said to everyone, "Let's go! To Darkwater River." Hugh and everyone were walking in the village. The villager looked at the group and asked, "Are they from the city?" Two village women looked at Sarah and commented on how nice her clothes were. "Her hair is so beautiful. Look at mine, it's like a bunch of dry grass," one of them said. Sarah felt a little embarrassed after being talked about. Just saw those villagers' hair shining brightly. Dennis and Lucas were so scared that they were shivering. Their hair was as shiny as the village chief's. Could it be that everyone in this village is bizarre?